Welcome to the Cool Lifting Podcast. I'm your host, Theo, and this is your host, Eric. Um, and today we have another virtual meeting since you're going to be competing, and I'm in Pennsylvania. So,
Mhm. I wasn't
that
able to drive up to Pennsylvania for this podcast episode.
L host.
I'm not as committed as you,
All right.
but we still wanna get something out there.
Yeah. And today's topic will be underrated tips for meet day. And then I feel like this lines up perfectly for a lot of people competing, gonna get into nationals, um, and then leading into nationals. We have some
Mm.
underrated tips we could or people could use. All right.
Yeah, this
Um,
stuff has just been on my mind since I'm competing soon, and then I was thinking maybe Theo can write something too that will give me give me some good insight of what I should do and what I should be prepared for 2 days out.
true.
How do I fix my prep in 2 days, Theo?
Well, first you got to make sure you're weighing the right weight. Get a
Get in
checklist of
there.
everything you need. But it's funny, like with a lot of this stuff too. I do still see a lot of even like intermediate slash like lower intermediate powerlifters, like who maybe have like one or two meets under their belt. They still forget to do some of these things. So I do think it'll be useful. But I think the first thing is just developing a better wind down process to sleep before meet day. Um, I don't think this is as big of an issue for you because it's in the same time zone. But the reason why I
Oh,
say
yeah.
this is because if you're going like back, like let's say we're in Central Time, and then you go to like Eastern, and then you lose an hour of sleep. Let's say like Nationals is for some reason on the East Coast, and you have to wake up at like 7 a.m. for the weigh-ins on that meet day, or the weigh-ins start at 7 a.m. and you have to wake up at like 5 or something. But in reality, it's like 4 a.m. for you. Um,
Mhm.
so it could be a little bit different. Granted, like it's just one day, so maybe it doesn't really matter as much. But
And then if you have 4 AM weigh-ins, that means you gotta wake up at 2 to 2:30 AM to get your steps in and to get some time to chill,
no,
get
literally,
some time to do the last minute cut.
yeah,
That's a little different.
yeah, right,
That's a
right.
little more extreme, though.
Mm. But I was
But
seeing
I
this a
feel like
lot
1 to
more.
2 hour
Oh yeah,
difference
sorry.
isn't too crazy.
Yeah, but I was seeing this a lot more when people would have to travel overseas. That's where I feel
Mm,
like it really matters. Like you might actually have to go to bed at like 7, where some people are fortunate enough to you know go to their meets like a week before. Um, this is more of like a niche
yeah,
thing, but I do know like a couple people who travel or like they do meets in like USVI or something, and they have to qualify over there. So the time zone might be a little bit slightly off for them.
yeah. I don't think USVI is too bad, right?
No, not USVI, definitely not.
Compared to other
Yeah.
things, but
Uh,
that is 100% a thing, or this is, something I'll do in the past. Well, I would train at my normal time. So, like, let's say I'm doing a 4 week block and then the 1 week taper. I train at my normal time, but meet day a lot of the times is in the morning. And then for my 1 week out taper week, which still, there's still something to it, but usually a little lighter than the rest of training, or it's not as do or die as the rest of training. I would just train earlier in the day during that taper week.
yeah.
If that's I was a student, so I like didn't do anything,
Yeah.
but I would just train. And then for that taper week, I train more so in the morning. I wouldn't train super early because I still was not waking up super early, but I train more in the morning, and then that would make me feel a little better
Mm.
for this meet that was going to be in the morning.
Yeah. I did a little bit of that when I was trying to qualify for nationals in 2023. It did help actually because I'm not someone who typically trains in the morning, like super late for
Mm.
me. Usually like after 7. Um, so yeah, I guess that's kind of where I start. And then I start making like a checklist of things. So like bringing your own food and like equipment and stuff like that. So
Mhm. Yeah, you
uh,
can bring your own food on flights. National level means you can bring your own food if you're driving to a meet. Surprisingly, you don't have to you don't have to just buy Bucky's on the way there and get whatever's at the gas station. You can bring your own food. So for this, I shouldn't have too much food to bring, but I'm bringing my own pre-workout meal and all that, and then meal prep. I'm only staying there one night, so I'm only I'll go in tomorrow and I'm competing 2 days. So if I was staying there an extra day, I would have meal prepped my food, or I would have gotten maybe not a hotel, but one of those hotels with a stove or Airbnb, just to have some place to cook because I do not like eating out X amount of days before the meet. I don't even like eating out before my week 4
Mm.
just because it throws me off. I feel too bloated, gross.
Doesn't have that
So
McDonald's visual.
yeah, no McDonald's for me unless it's the Minecraft meal.
Yeah.
Minecraft
Yeah.
meal.
Um, yeah, so
What
along
about you?
that too, like typically if it's like a more serious meet for me, like I will have like the meal preps, or if like I'm traveling, like a national level meet or something.
What about like regionals? Because you traveled for that. No
I
way. It was like 4 or 5 hour drive. It was
yeah,
like probably a 5.5 hour
yeah,
drive for you, is
yeah,
where you
yeah.
live.
So the one thing that I did was for the travel, I had my meal prep just because like I took like a 2 hour break or whatever when driving, and then drove another 2 hours, but
Mhm.
for that drive, like I got up at like I went to a Bucky's and I remember just like stretching out my hips and walking for like 5 minutes, like just while my car was pumping gas. But then also, yeah, like I brought my own meal prep because um, a lot of like gas station food and whatnot, that is too bloating for me, too,
Yeah,
and that one's too risky in my opinion. Um,
risky. It's 100%
yeah,
risky. Like, and I don't even think it's risky for the food poisoning. I think it's just risky for performance.
yeah,
And when is the last time people normally get a gas station meal?
mm,
Just period. Like, it doesn't happen that often. I don't know. Maybe it does. I, I had a
yeah,
friend who, when I was in college, would get like these barbecue burgers at this QT. I don't think that's super. I don't think that's in every state. But and then I'd get the barbecue burgers because he'd say they were good. They weren't that good though. But
yeah,
something like that
mm,
does matter. And from my regionals experience, which while it wasn't a flight or anything, it was still 4.5 hour drive, and then I was there like 2 days before competing just to watch some people. With that one, I didn't prep my own food, but I was eating all this gut cut food. So in a way, that's like, it's not really something you cook, but it's something it comes in a box and you eat it, right? Like
yeah,
the
right,
cereal.
like nuts or
Oh,
something, like
but I
almond milk.
did, yeah, but I did bring my gut cut food in advance, and that was in my travel case and all that. And then I think I did need to actually buy because my I didn't the cut was I didn't even need to cut like that much. So that I started losing a little bit, and I'm like, wait a minute, like let me chill on this cut for a little bit, and then I got microwavable rice, but the stuff I was buying at the grocery store that was still like not like you don't make microwavable rice, you just put it in the microwave, then it's done. But that stuff, like I've had it before, and that is also like something like that is a little less risky than getting like a frozen meal.
Yeah, right. For states, I had to do a gut cut. And when I start doing stuff like that, I like to be very exact. So I'll separate all my nuts. Like I'll weigh it out. I'll separate them in separate bags for the day. I'll have separate gallon containers for each day, just so I like if I'm doing a water cut as well, and I did in this case. I know exactly like, oh, this day I drank this much water, or I try to finish the 2 gallons or whatever I need to intake.
Mhm.
Um, and then as well as weighing myself in the morning and nights.
Yeah, I totally forgot to do that this prep. I didn't do
Yeah.
that. But I luckily I don't have to lose. Like I was like 0.7 over this morning.
Right.
I'd say a pound and a half. So it's not too
Yeah.
bad.
I think for states I was around like four-ish pounds over, so
Yeah, you're
that's
like
what
you
was
forgot to do
yeah,
that. 100%.
more on top. And then like in my earlier meets, like the second meet, I mentioned to you this before, where um, on the day of the meet, I brought something that I normally would eat before. It was like a Japanese restaurant, and when I ate it, it actually made my stomach upset. Luckily, though,
Was that
like
States?
no, wait, that was like
Was that
Pennsylvania. It was like some,
okay?
yeah, I think it was actually Pennsylvania States, which is
Interesting.
funny. But yeah, like it made my stomach really upset. Um, but luckily I had Imodium, so it kind of calmed it down. Um,
Mhm.
Ironically, that was like my worst performing meet, so maybe that did actually have to contribute. Um, and then also I've cramped before on the platform by not having like a proper recomp process. This was
Mhm.
also like this was probably like my third meet, where I drank like too much water, and it was like I was just overhydrated, so I need to get more electrolytes in. So now I have like a more strict protocol. Like after the weigh-ins, I only drink like the the pre-made Pedialytes because the ratio for electrolytes to water is exact. Um, and
Mhm.
then if I need water, I'll sip on it instead of chugging water throughout the meet. Um, but that's just
Oh,
me.
yeah, that totally reminds me, like, whenever I do meet, I have to use the bathroom, like, 20 times.
Hmm.
I need to I need to not do that this meet because I do not like doing that.
Yeah, right. Um, so long story short, for me, it's just mostly like crossing my T's, dotting my I's, just so I know exactly what I should be feeling. Since for a majority of my meets, I did have to do some sort of gut cut slash water cut, but these last few, I've been a little bit more lax because I've just been able to walk in and weigh. Well, the last one, I should say, regionals, I was able to just walk in and weigh in with whatever I was eating.
Mhm. With I've had, to do some sort of cut for 3 meets, and for those 3 meets, it was, like, barely anything, and usually I wouldn't overdo it, but I'd weigh in a little lighter than I thought, at least for 2 out of the 3, because I probably didn't even really need to cut, or I did need to cut, but not as many days as I did. I was just following the YouTube video, the PRS gut cut video,
Yeah,
but it was not that heavy. So I'm like, I needed like half of that, but then I did all of it, and I'm like, oh, I'm a little light, but it's no big deal. So I feel fine
yeah,
hydration wise. I feel fine for the most part, performance wise, as long as I can get this body weight back up.
yeah. This is probably for a little bit after weigh-ins, but do you have any like special foods or anything that you eat? I know like some people have taken orange juice concentrate to get like a high amount of carbs in before the
Mhm.
meet, but I'm not sure if you have any like, oh, I eat this before meet day, or it's just like
My
rice and
meat day
noodles.
is usually I weigh in, and then I drink a Pedialyte, and then I go eat my regular pre-workout meal, and I pack a little extra just to with how I'm feeling. I wait for that to digest, and then I have some Gatorade or a little bit of char roll, or which is like rehydration salts slash Cliff Bars throughout the rest of the day.
Hmm.
I'm also not doing like any crazy cut. Like I haven't done a big cut for any of my meats, but that's pretty much like what it's been for almost all of my meats.
Right.
And I'm not really dehydrated or anything because I didn't do a big cut, and then I'm not really. I don't eat like a crazy amount of
Hmm.
anything like that. And then for my pre-workout meal, I like eating the same thing. So I used to just have like rice, and now I have more like cream of wheat mixed in with some other stuff. So last meat, I had a big bowl of cream of wheat, and then the meat before that probably had a big bowl of rice, and then I have a little bit of snacks in between, just to make sure that I'm still ready to keep going
Yeah.
throughout the meet.
Right. Right. Just the typical like higher carb, lower fat, less protein on the day.
Yeah,
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I would say mine's.
there would be. But you know what? There was a like when I was having the rice
Mm,
because I'd only eat rice. The it messed with my stomach a little bit, so I had like 2 or 3 meets where I'd go to Chick-fil-A and get some nuggets. I guess that goes against like everything I said. But those I just needed something because the it was like the carbs were messing with my stomach, or only the carbs, and then being conscious of eating the past couple days, the combination would mess with my stomach a bit.
No, I understand that actually. I think for me it's just like I feel like I almost need like even a little bit of protein per
Yeah,
meal anyway. But I also did
it's
hear
like
this. I'm not sure if this is 100% accurate, but some like Olympians, if they travel, they actually eat like certain fast foods because they know that like McDonald's or something will sit well with their stomach instead of just the native food that's there.
that
Um,
makes sense. I mean, I think that's better than getting some completely random hole in the wall restaurant. It's like I guess I'd rather go to some like if I had to choose between one of the two, like McDonald's or like street vendor tacos.
right, right. Okay. Um, so yeah, my meals is similar. But I think my strategy, because I back in the day I was trying to get like if I weighed in at 165, I was trying to get to like 170 after weigh-ins.
Yeah, yeah. How would that be for you? Because I've only had to cut a couple pounds, so getting back a couple pounds is pretty easy.
Yeah, so what I realized honestly was just the rehydration salts and the water and the Pedialyte carried a lot of that. Um, but I would also just try to stuff my face as early as possible in the weigh-ins.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's better
Yeah,
to stuff your face like at the start of the 2 hours
yeah,
versus like chatting for 40 minutes and then starting to eat.
yeah. And this is
The
where
timing all
right.
matters.
The first common mistake that I usually see is like people don't feel hungry. Like people generally don't eat breakfast anyway. So like, oh, like I feel fine, but then when they step on the platform, they realize like, oh, I probably should have
Yeah.
eaten a little bit more. So
It's like you have to force it down
yeah,
during that time.
right,
And I've had people say like I probably should have eaten a little more. And I'm like, why didn't you? And they're like, oh, I wasn't that hungry. I'm like, dude, this is like if you stuff your face, like let's say the weigh-ins are at I don't know, like 7 a.m. and then you stuff your face at 7:05. Then you're done eating with everything at like 7:20. Then you have all this time to digest, and you're good. You'll be good for the most part. But if you just wait until like 8 p.m. or something like that, now you have way less time. Well, if you don't start eating until 8 p.m., and it takes 20 minutes, then you're not done until 8:20. And then if lifting starts at 9, you're warming up at like 8:30, and there has been no time for any of this to digest.
right, yeah. And I'm sure other athletes think this way when they're cutting and they've been doing it for a while, but you just kind of need to guarantee when you stuff your face in the early that you get enough calories and like you're not worried about it later in the meet like oh
Yeah,
did I eat enough or whatever like no like
yeah.
you kind
Usually
of
the calories from the weigh-in,
mm,
they'll fuel the squat for sure, in theory, right? And then there was still a good chunk in you by bench to where you're good, and then there's still a good handful in you for deadlift. You might need to eat a little bit of snacks, or snacks is like not the right word because I feel like snacks implies unhealthy, but you might need to eat a little bit here and there in between bench and deadlift to keep it going. But for the most part, this meal still covers the majority of it. It's not like you're eating three pre workout meals during this meet.
right. I think
So
the
the
stuff he's
biggest,
bringing. Oh, God.
I was gonna say that yeah, the biggest thing with this is like if you just get a Pedialyte or some sort of like real rehydration drink that's not prime, and you go and bring your own food, bring more than needed, just or ideally it's like all calculated out, but you bring more than needed just in case, then you're pretty ahead for the most part.
Yeah, right. I was just gonna say like the snacks that you talked about earlier, those are ideal where it's like anywhere from 150 calories to 300, like a
Mhm.
bagel, the granola bars, um,
Yeah.
like stuff like that, where it's quick, easy to digest. You know your body accepts it.
Mhm. Yeah, and with this, I'm very pro. like bringing a gallon of water throughout to drink throughout the meet, maybe even a little more. I usually bring my gallon of water and then I bring my fully filled water bottle, which is I don't know how many ounces it is, but it's like this thing,
Yep.
pretty big. Yeah, this is a regular bottle of water. And with that, there was this one meet. I brought my gallon of water, and I'm feeling good, and I'm prepared, and I have all my stuff. And then I have this friend competing, and her friend who's not competing asks her boyfriend asked me for I knew him and we were cool, but he asked me for water. And he competes too. And I'm like, sure, go take some water. And then this dude like fills up his entire big ass cup, big ass, I don't know what this is, like 14-ounce cup. And I'm like, man, this guy just took a lot of my water. He walks off. I'm like, dude, I still got a deadlift. And I was like, I was also trying to hit a QT back then. I'm like, crap, like I still got like a lot on my plate right now. And as the meet is finishing up, I had enough water to like finish the meet, but I didn't have any more than that. And after that, I'm like, dude, I'm not sharing any of my stuff with anyone again. What the heck was that? So I like you have to be a little greedy, not even greedy, but a little selfish on meet day. And this is your day. It's not this other guy's day who's not competing. It's not even if they were competing, it's like, bro, tough luck. You should have been prepared. It's your day, and you gotta tell someone no. You gotta tell someone no. Don't take my water. No one's taking my water at states at this meet. That's for sure.
At
Uh
least you got.
uh I did
It's
not like
funny.
that.
Yeah, no,
I
that's
didn't,
that's crazy. That's diabolical.
bro. He was sabotaging me. Mm-mm.
It's
But
funny too. He probably didn't even finish it either. He probably drank like half the
yeah,
bottle.
he probably took like 2 sips and then just hung out. I mean,
Uh,
we were cool and all that. It's not like we weren't friends. I just wouldn't say we were like insanely close. But even if we were close, it's like, hey, bro, like I need you to understand, like I need all this water for me, and if and whenever someone doesn't have water, kind of the move there is you get somebody else to go to a gas station and you go to get them to buy you a gallon of water, and you find someone to convince who's not competing, or someone's always up and out at these things, but some of these venues don't even like really have water fountains. Some of them do, but it's one water fountain, and then there's like 70 people competing, and everyone wants their water from the water fountain. You could get water from the sink. I don't think there's anything wrong with that on meet day. You gotta do what you gotta do. But these bathrooms are pretty full most of the time, so there might be a line. You know how it is at
yeah.
the main venue in Houston. There's always a line at that bathroom. So I'm very pro bringing a gallon of water and then making sure no one else takes it.
Yeah.
That was something I learned. It didn't affect me, but it was like, wow, this definitely could have affected me. And if I continue to let everyone use my water, there's probably going to be a meet where I'm out of water.
Yeah. Right. This happened at the last meet we were at, where um, I usually give my clients like a checklist of things to bring, and then one of them unfortunately forgot to bring their water. They left it in their car or their parents' car or whatever. Um, and they're like, "Oh yeah, like I could just buy them here anyway. Not a big
Oh.
deal." Yeah, they were not in the fridge, and then the water fountain was broken. Um, so luckily, my other client was able to give him one of his gallon jugs. He had three, but
That guy's more prepared than me.
yeah, right.
That
That's
guy
like
knows
this
what's
guy.
up.
I was like, bro, you drink 3 gallons of water? He's like, yeah, I drink like two. I was like, damn, that's crazy.
There was this one time I was handling at TSS Houston, and the meet was finishing up, and I knew I had to train afterwards, and I ran out of water, and for some reason the water in the sink was a lot not as appealing as I remember. So I go to the front. I'm like, hey, can I buy some water? And they say something like, I think I bought buy a bottle or two, and then I drink it. I'm like, dude, it is so hot in here. Like I wasn't competing, I was handling, and thinking, man, like I'm gonna need to buy some more water. Like I don't even know where a gas station is nearby, and getting in and out of here is kind of like
Yeah.
there's a it takes a minute. And so I go to the front, and it's me, and then I see someone buy his water bottle, and then there's 2 water bottles left. I'm like, crap. Like, I don't want to keep spending money on water, but I buy the 2 water bottles, and then they're sold out. And then this other lady comes in and she's looking for water. She's like, "Oh, can I buy some?" And they're like, "Oh no, we're sold out." So I walk away immediately because I'm like, "You're not getting my water." But like, imagine if I was an athlete at this meet and this was like right after squat or something like that, and now the venue is sold out of water, and that's it. The game over. The sink water was not appealing. It was pretty bad that day. So it's like I don't even know if that's something you even want to be drinking out of on meet day if it's looking like that. But this is all stuff that can very much happen, and a lot of these venues, facilities, they're gyms. They're not like 5-star resorts, so
Yeah,
don't
right.
always
And
have.
I was gonna say, like, sometimes if you're lucky enough, you can get your friend to like come get you something, but like even that
Yeah,
is kind of that
yeah.
would be
Sometimes
crazy. Yeah, good.
it still is
Yeah.
hassle. Like let's say an athlete asked that of me at that venue,
Mhm.
then it's probably like a 15-20 minute detour. But that, like if we're warming up, if the lifts are already going, then that 15-20 minute detour can really matter. And it's like, what's more important, us getting you water right now, or us getting proper handling and knowing what to do? And that's kind of up to the athlete. But it does like those are two very different situations.
Yeah.
That one can go. Sometimes like someone's parent can go. That I think that's like the best case. But you kind of have to ask something of them, or maybe it's not a parent, but it's like their boyfriend girlfriend is there watching, supporting, and it's like, hey, I need you to, I need you to do all this hard work right now, all this dirty work, because I don't want to, and the athlete's
Right.
not going to do it. So it is still an ask, but I'll just avoid it if you bring gallon of water. I'll bring 2 gallons of water. I'll probably just leave one in my car,
Yeah.
or I
And
don't know, I'll probably just bring one.
I feel like the food preparation stuff is like one of the easiest things you can do too. So that's why like it's like a little bit weird when I see people not have everything they need.
Yeah, it's
Um
super common. That's like
yeah, it is.
the thing. It happens all the time. I see it all the time.
Yeah, especially like I see this happen a lot where they'll weigh like someone will weigh in, they may or may not have cut weight and they'll be like, "Oh, like I'm just going to go drive somewhere to get food." Um
Yeah, they do that,
yeah, then
dude.
they go
Yeah,
to
I
McDonald's
had
for like the
one
line for
athlete,
30 minutes.
one guy back in the day. Let's say weigh-ins were at 9 and lifting started at 11. I'm like, okay, hey, bro, I'll show up at 10. I'll get there at 10, and we'll
Yeah.
be cool. And he's like, I'm like, I trust you. That we talked about all this weigh-ins. You've done a few meets before. You'll be good for the weigh-in process. And then we talked a bit about the the pre-workout meal, all that. And I go to pull up, and he's not there. And I text him. I'm like, yo, where you at? And he says he's at like this diner eating a bunch of pancakes. And I'm just like, dude, what is going on? But he was like, bro, I feel so carved up. I feel so good.
Mm,
And he had a good meet. But at the same time, I was like, man, I don't know if that was the right way to go about things.
yeah.
But it worked out
Now,
for him.
I would say 2 years ago, I know someone in Pennsylvania at Power Build. They did this. They went to go to IHOP. Their wait slash waitress was taking a really long time, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, like they pretty much had to do their warm ups like back to back to back for squat, and
We had to do his warm ups a little quick because he was just
yeah,
having a blast eating his pancakes.
yeah.
He was
Me
just having. Dude,
personally,
he looked so
yeah.
happy afterwards. He was having the time of his life.
He's like, man, I
What
feel
was going
good.
on?
No,
Yeah, he was
yeah.
enjoying it. But
See,
that's
for
also a
me,
thing.
yeah, I would say like once I get to the venue, I'm never leaving the venue. Like,
Yeah, leaving the venue is risky too. What if like something bad happens? What if there's a car crash? What if there's not even a car crash, but like I don't know, like a fender bender, or you accidentally bump someone? Like that is.
yeah,
Imagine telling them like, bro, I gotta go max out my squat right now. Like I don't have time to give you my insurance information. Like a lot of stuff can happen, and we want to avoid the stuff. We want to avoid the bad stuff, and like, hey, if we're prepared, we are much better off. And if we're on site at the venue the whole time, then we're good. Because like something could happen to where this happened with my guy eating pancakes. Something could happen where the meet director is like, hey, I need to ask this lifter a question. He doesn't have his He doesn't have his opener in. He doesn't have his rack height in. We need this information now, even though the meet isn't starting for another hour. They're asking around. They're like, "Where's this? Where is he? Where is he? Where's this guy?" And like, he's not there. He's eating breakfast. They might just like put in something, or they might like be really, depending on how strict they are, they might not be as forgiving with something like this. Like something could pop up, and if something pops up and you're not there, like who is gonna be there to stand up for you, right? Like it's not good.
Yeah, right. Okay. I guess we could talk more about weigh-ins now. So,
Yeah, when
what do you recommend people
process.
do for streamlined weigh-in process?
Yeah, so this is I hope I can do this one because I think it really does matter. However, at my meet, early equipment check-in is on Friday, and then there's people competing Saturday, and then I compete Sunday. So there's no early equipment check-in on Saturday, but I still like to bring my own scale, and I really like to compare my scale to the meet day scale just to see what the difference is, because some scales are light, some scales are heavy. And the funny thing is, even though I do technically have a calibrated scale, it's still like these things can still vary scale to scale very much. So it's honestly not that much better than having a regular scale, because it's like, hey, there's already going to be some, like, it's already going to be different. Granted, I guess mine's like supposed to be a tiny bit closer, but at the end of the day, who knows? It's up to the meet day scale. So in a perfect world, I'm gonna get to San Antonio, and then hopefully I'll be able to make a quick pit stop at the venue since the hotel isn't too crazy far. And then I'm gonna bring my scale inside. I'm gonna weigh myself on the scale, and then I'm gonna weigh myself on their scale, and I'm gonna compare the difference, see which one is heavier. But by doing something like that, you're able to see, like, hey, do I need to take this cut more, like, do I need to lock this cut in, or am I good to chill out a tiny bit with this cut? Like, what is the reality here? And you can pretty much do this at every meet. I haven't really, like, granted, I wasn't doing this my first few meets just because I didn't even really know it was a thing, and like I also, like, wasn't cutting. But you can go and just ask, like, the front desk, ask the meet director, ask whoever's there, like, hey, can I compare my scale real quick? And they'll let you. They'll pretty much always let you. I've seen them let you at national level meets as long as there's not a weigh-in going on. And this way you have a lot more clearness of what's actually happening.
Yeah, I do the same thing. Especially if you're cutting, you already have to bring your scale anyway. You shouldn't be rolling the dice.
Yeah,
And then in your
yeah,
case,
you should be.
you have the calibrated scale, but I know there's still some variance on that too.
Yeah. Well, other scales might be heavy, other scales might be light. I've
Yeah,
seen it's seen both ways.
I
Just
see it a
have.
lot where it's like, hey, my scale was actually like a pound off, like up or
Yeah,
down. Um,
yeah. And I would say the only thing with mine is like there's a slightly better chance it's not as crazy off as a regular scale. But I've definitely seen, like, most people have normal scales, and it's very, like, they'll say like they'll say their scale is off, like the meat director scale is not my scale is off, their scale is off, their scale's actually a pound heavier, what the heck? And like, I'm screwed. It's like, dude, like, we should have just come in the day before. I mean, that's usually, if you're able to go the day before, I'd say that's a bigger advantage than early equipment check-in,
mhm,
as much as I like early equipment check-in.
right.
But it's yeah, it's like a stress relief in a way.
Yeah.
Plus, if your scale is too light, then you might actually end up cutting more weight than needed, and then you weigh in light, or too light on meet day, and you're like, oh dang, I actually didn't even need to cut that much. And it doesn't even matter like whose scale is right. They're just gonna go off of the whatever scale that the meet director is using.
Mhm,
That's at the venue.
right.
And that
Yeah.
scale could technically be wrong, but it's like, who cares? That's what they're using. So we play by those rules.
Yeah. If you do this too, and you know your scale is accurate to whatever the meat standard is, hopefully the meat scale is actually fully accurate. But if you do weigh in light too, um, that gives you the option of like recomping a little bit earlier. Let's say you weigh like 2 pounds less on meet day. Um, I've gotten this a lot. I'll just tell my athletes, hey, just weigh yourself with a water bottle or something on your scale and see if you still go
Yeah.
over the cap. That way, you're not so miserable. Like if you're having to cut. Um,
Mhm.
but you can only do this if you know your scale is accurate. For
Yeah.
me personally, I just
That's
use the
another
weights.
thing. That's a really good thing to mention.
Mhm,
Is like you do that with water, you could do that with some food,
mhm.
and that can very much be the difference of you feeling good versus you feeling slightly drained throughout the whole competition.
Yeah. Just because they're luckily a lot of the meets in Texas, they're ran very smoothly. The weigh-in process is done very
Mhm.
well. But I remember my early meets, like I would be standing there after doing a cut for like an hour and a half. The meet would be delayed. But I'm just there like dry mouth, like really hungry. And like if you can at least get a little bit of liquids or food in, like it makes that process a lot better. Um, so
Mhm.
yeah, just something to be aware of. But I do think that's a super underrated thing, like bringing your scale to equipment check or just before the meet. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Then you can go away in naked.
Mm.
The ultimate hack
This
on
is
on this list, and everyone says it is even. I didn't even start doing that until last meet because not fun. But everyone says they're about it until they have to weigh in naked, aka me. But this is worth it if you need extra dots or if you're aiming for placing, right? Like if you're aiming for placing, this actually can make a difference because now you could weigh in lighter than your competitor who's got his heavy underwear on, and if you weigh in a little lighter, that means you don't have to. You can total like 2.5 kilos less possibly because you can win on body weight or you can place higher due to body weight.
yeah.
And then for dots, there's not, there's like some qualifying totals for dots, like the Arnold, but I don't really think there's, I think besides like that, there's not too many dots meets, or I guess for best lifter or something. But yeah, if you're trying to get best lifter, there you go. There's a little easier way to make it happen. And this is something that, you know, everyone can do. I think if you're a sub junior, you need a adult, but
Yeah.
that's a different conversation. I'm not telling sub juniors to do that. On
Right.
adults to good. Mm-hmm.
I personally haven't done this. I guess I'm not about that life. But
Bruh, not
when
about the commando life.
yeah, back when we had the whitey tidies rule, I do think like even if
Oh
you
yeah.
do that, like if you're shy like me, you don't have a monster dong like Eric, you should um just weigh like weigh yourself with underwear that's a little bit lighter, you know.
Yeah, I try and wear whitey tidy esque underwear on meet day because the the whole purpose of that whitey tidy rule, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was to help show depth
Mhm.
because and it was also to make sure the lifter wasn't wearing lifting briefs, which are like an equip thing, which if you wear those, it just helps add like 30, 40 pounds to your squat, just like that. But the whole purpose of the whitey tidies was to make it easier to see depth. And I don't want to wear boxer briefs or boxers or something that's longer than that because that could slightly cover up the depth. So I'd rather wear an underwear like the whitey tidies on meet day so you can more easily see my depth because I don't want to get called for depth.
Yeah, same. I was doing that a lot, and then I switched to more like hip briefs where it's not quite
Mhm.
like whitey tidies, but it's still a lot closer. Um, but I know another thing too is people who've cut their hair. I know one person who's done this to make weight, but have I'm not sure if you know
Are
anyone who's actually had to do
they
this.
a girl?
It was a guy, Alex Sador.
Yeah.
Um, for
Yeah.
yeah, he had to do that, and I was like,
Man.
oh dang, like he was about that life, and I think he also made it
Man.
naked as well. So
Yeah, I don't have. Well, with the reason why I was asking if it was a girl was because girls, they usually have like long
yeah, heavier
hair.
hair, right?
Yeah, and they just have a lot. I don't have too much crazy hair, but maybe if I need to shave the beard, then that'll
Yeah,
be the final straw. But I don't even think cutting my hair would really do anything.
right.
So
Oh
I'm
yeah,
just gonna.
you
I really just need to spit.
right.
Be good.
True, true, true.
If cutting my hair did have like if my hair was long enough, well, I wouldn't keep my hair that long because then uh I want to know what my body weight is all the time. But if my hair was hypothetically really long, then I'd be pretty pro cutting it short or in order to make weight. Or like let's say it was like down to my back and I'd be down to cut it
Yeah,
around
like
where the
shoulder width.
neck is.
Yeah.
Yeah, shoulder width.
Uh,
I'd be down for that. But my hair is not that long, so
yeah.
I don't do that. Like cutting the rest of this off, I don't think wouldn't do enough to make me weigh in. I don't
Yeah.
think. I also don't think hair is like that heavy.
No, no,
Com-
no. You're
um,
right. Like,
it's not as heavy as like people think.
yeah. Like if
But if it was a
like
lot of hair,
curly,
then I'd be
yeah.
totally.
Like
I'd
your hair
be
is
like, yeah,
pretty long.
you gotta do
Yeah, I'm not cutting my hair though. I'll just
it.
I'll take the L, or I'll just like jog or like spit or something. But this actually goes into the next thing, I guess, sort of. What I was talking about too is just like if you are doing a cut, you should also maybe bring like a portable sauna if you're like at a national like a very serious meet.
Have you have you used a portable sauna?
So I have not. If I had to use the sauna, I just went to like an LA Fitness. So
Because like yeah, the whole concept of sauning is very different person to person. Because some like I would see it as if someone's using a sauna, it means they're going to an LA Fitness, and what I would always wonder is how did this person like I don't know, maybe LA Fitnesses just have saunas all the time, but like how did this lifter know that this gym that was very close to them in this new city had a sauna? And I doubt they called in advance because it'd be like someone I knew. I'm like, dude, there's no way this guy called in advance. But how does someone like that know there's a sauna? But some people refer to the sauna as just making a like a really hot shower, like all the way as hot as it can go, and then just sitting in the bathroom.
yeah,
And there was someone I was competing with in a random city. I think it was Wichita Falls, Texas, and he said he had the sauna a little bit, and I'm thinking like in my head, like where the heck is this guy going to get a sauna? We're in Wichita Falls. I don't know. I don't know anything about the city. And he was pretty much doing his last bit of cut, just chilling in the bathroom with the hotel bathroom with the water all the way up, and in a way, it's kind of like a makeshift sauna. And I've heard people using that. I haven't done something like that. I've taken hot showers before a meet, and usually that can get a little bit of body weight down. So I usually do that before my meets. So just take a hot shower, dry off, and I don't even remember like how much my body weight goes down. I should keep better track of that because I think that's a easy thing for people to do to get a tiny bit off without it really affecting them because it's just like hot shower, no big deal.
yeah,
Or if you're staying in there for like an hour, then that's a little different. But some people consider saunaing something like that. So whenever like an athlete says they have to sauna, it really means something different person to person.
that's true. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because
Yeah,
I used to assume like official sauna all the time, and then I like talked to more people, and I'm like, wait a minute, you guys aren't doing an official sauna. You guys are just going taking a hot shower.
right.
Uh, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess like
just
that is true. Like when I was thinking about saunas, I was thinking about like the actual like either the portable sauna people have or like the LA Fitness one. Um,
yeah.
and that was the
I
thing
think
for
Ricky Cho would use portable sauna.
yeah, yeah, he did because I
That's
remember he
how
was
I
having
heard about.
issues with it. But he
Maybe.
ended up having to do what you did, where he had to turn the shower on and like put towels underneath the door so that the cold air would
Oh, yeah, that's a
yeah
good
um
tactic.
yeah
Mm,
so
I think I've seen Penna, the France guy. do something like taking a hot shower or posting about it on his story. But yeah, in a way, it's like a makeshift sauna. I think a regular sauna. I would imagine a regular sauna is better, but it's more intense.
It is, yeah.
So, like a shower sauna, while it's not as quick for getting this body weight down, it's less intense to where, like, if you do this hot shower method, you
Mhm.
could probably lose a little bit, and you won't have to actually you won't suffer that greatly if
Right,
you're doing it.
right.
Because some showers can also only get so hot.
Yeah.
Like my shower recently got repaired. It wasn't broken or anything, but the water, while it was hot, it wasn't scalding hot, and now it can really get scalding hot. So that's a curious question. You know, if I were to do a sauna a couple months ago versus if I were to do a sauna now in my own bathroom, like now, is it more intense? Is it better? Probably a little bit, but maybe it might have bigger drawbacks.
Right.
That's something like this is something I don't think really gets like with spitting. People kind of know like with spitting you can lose a pound to 2 pounds with spitting, but with the sauna, like I don't know, there's not as much of a definitive answer. It
Yeah,
just isn't
right. And
as
I
easily found.
Yeah, like some people, they're like as soon as they hop in like a conventional sauna, like an LA Fitness, like they're instantly sweating. But for other people
Dude,
too,
I was
like
in the compound sauna at compound gym not too long ago, and I was in there for like 15 minutes, and I was gassed.
yeah, right. And like yeah, no, and that kind of goes to what you're saying too. Like, I mean, if you're doing the shower thing, I don't think it's that taxing. But like those active
Yeah,
methods where you're there for an hour in the sauna trying to like cut 5 pounds or something,
yeah, some people do that.
that's taxing. And I know a lot of
I don't think.
people who went from like wrestling or something and then
Oh yeah.
tried that initially, and then they realize like, hey, like 24-hour weigh-ins is a lot different than a 2-hour weigh-in. Um,
Oh, was wrestling 24 hours
I
in high
believe
school?
so. Yeah, yeah. For at least from the people that I were talking to with a 24-hour
Okay.
weigh-in.
Yeah, 'cause I've met some of the people who did wrestling in high school, and then they tell me about the wrestling cuts, and those are intense.
Right.
And you know, one of them was telling me how he'd like get on the treadmill and just put a bunch of trash bags and sweatpants on him, and then he'd run on the treadmill and like he'd sweat a bunch of stuff out. And he said something like there's a rule where you're actually not allowed to do that anymore. But as long as the coach doesn't see you do it, they don't care. So he would just do it anyway. And he'd like
Right.
he was pretty much like, bro, I'm here to win. I'm here to get good. Like, so I
Yeah.
gotta do this. Like, bro, there's no way this is healthy. Like,
You.
he was like 16, 17 years old. I'm like, dude,
No.
there's gotta be that.
Yeah.
And
No.
all that stuff is way more intense than whatever we're doing. But also stuff like for us, it can, in a way, we only want it to be so intense because it is a 2 hour
Mm,
weigh-in. Like we only have 2 hours, and really, if you're like the first flight, we only really have an hour and a half to get this body weight back and get fully hydrated as much as we can.
yeah. But all right. Was there anything else we wanted to talk about, like the weigh-in process there? I feel like that just covered most of it.
Mm, we
Um,
did check the morning and nighttime. Wait, did we talk
right.
about that?
Yeah, I mentioned it a little bit, but if you're
Yeah,
doing some
I
sort of
totally forgot
cut,
to do that.
yeah,
But
like,
well, I'm not like
uh,
crazy cutting. Get
yeah.
a little bit of gut cut food here and there, and then spit. I'm good.
And this is what you told me too, which is also really important. Is you cut off your food the same time every single time per day. Like, let's say you finish eating at 9 p.m. Like the next day, if you're going into the meet, like you don't finish at like 12 a.m. or something, because it's gonna make your weigh-ins inconsistent. So I do that like 3 days out, where I'll always eat and finish my food at like a certain time, so I know it's consistent. Um,
Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of that to where like normally I'd get in my all of my food pretty late at night, but now I'm trying to just stuff my face before it's super late, so I have a little more time to digest. And in a way, I get to eat the same exact thing, but I'm digesting it earlier in the day, so now I'm good for these early wins. I should do more research on that because
Mhm.
I don't think that one's super talked about either.
Um, and
Okay.
then
But then after you're done weighing in and all that, you do your pre-workout meal, you eat, and then you go squat, but you can still eat throughout the day after the squat and after the bench. And how I usually do it is after, yeah, I'll do my pre-workout meal and I'll squat, and then right after squat, I try and eat something just because I still want to have fuel for the rest of the day. It's an all day thing. And then I go bench. And after bench, I usually try and have it be a little more chill because I don't want my stomach being as bloated as it may have been for squat and bench. I don't want it being super bloated for deadlift.
yeah, same. And then also I forgot to mention this too, which is um like weaning off pre-workout, and then like a week out when you're tapering, you're obviously doing less work. So I won't really have pre-workout, and then on the day of the meet, I'll usually take it like 30 minutes before I squat, and then I won't
Mhm.
take any more for bench. But on deadlift, I might take like another quarter scoop too. And just
That's pretty much
knowing,
what I did
yeah,
at regional.
uh, just having a game plan for that, I think, is important if you're someone who takes pre-workout regularly. Um, also so you're not like stuffing your face with like 3 scoops of pre, which I've seen before, and then like
Yeah.
they go in and they go to their lifts and they're like, I didn't feel good. I got the jitters. I forgot all my cues because I was just like so hyped up on pre-workout. Um, or maybe that's just a copium. But
I
yeah,
mean, I used to be really sensitive to pre-workout, so I could definitely see how that would affect me. Now I'm a little more chill, but I also don't take the most intense stuff because
same.
I just don't have the highest tolerance.
All right. Um, so I guess some other things that we also should mention is like bringing more things to your meet that you might not normally do in your regular session. So something that I do is I bring like gym bands or like those long bands or collars. I keep gym collars in my bag. And then I keep a carpet in my car at all times. I'm always strapped with a carpet. So, um, I never really run into those type of issues that you might if you're traveling. Um, and like a foam roller too, stuff like that. Um, and then this is something we mentioned in a previous episode, but bringing stuff like sweatpants or a sweater or a hoodie, um,
Mhm.
those are also really important. Um, just to be a little bit more prepared after you weigh in the warm up room,
Yeah.
etc.
The national level meets are usually at convention centers or they're at some sort of fancier hotel, and it can get cold in those convention centers. It can get cold in those fancier hotels, and I'd say since we're in Texas, the meets in the summer are usually really hot, unless they're in a AC building, and you can, if you know, like if you just aren't signing up for a meet, and if you know the gyms in the area, then you have an idea of whether there's going to be AC or not. And then for the meets in the winter, I wouldn't say like things really start to get like really consistently cold till like that January to March time frame. So you could do meet in December, you'll probably be fine. Here, still bring sweatpants. It's still a little chilly, but it's not too bad. And then no one really does meets in February or March since it's just like bad timing for nationals or like CNATs or age division Nats because those are in like end of March or April and then May. But it's good to just bring sweats, and I've pretty much done this at every meet except my last. I forgot them, but luckily my girlfriend let me borrow her sweats, so I was walking around in those for the whole meet day. But pretty much every meet I brought sweats, and it definitely has helped just keep me warm too, because that's another thing, we want to be warmed up, and it's hard to stay warmed up if whether it's just like cold AC or just a cold winter weather that's always being on you during this time at a meet. And like even the weigh-in process, that can be really cold. And I don't know like the exact science behind this, but I'd imagine it's like if you're freezing for 2 hours during this 2 hour weigh-in and then you start trying to warm up, it's probably going to be a little harder to warm up
Mhm.
and get literally warm.
Yeah, I feel that. Especially like just in general, even if the meat's not, super cold, it just feels colder when you're in a singlet. So I like to have the
Yeah,
sweatpants
that
there.
too. Showing a little more skin.
Yeah. And then it being tighter on your skin too. Um so yeah, like what I'll usually do is I'll just wear the sweatpants, and even when I do like one or two reds on the bar, the
Yeah,
day,
I'll
then I'll
do
take it off.
I'll
Pause.
do yeah, I'll do one or two reds with the sweats, and then after that I'll take one of them off. I'll take the pants off or something.
Mm,
And then I'll do three reds or and I'll take the sweater off. Something like that.
yeah.
But
I personally don't do this, but I have seen some people do this, and I do think it is a underrated thing, but it requires a lot of money, and it's they bring their own change plates to.
oh, I
Yeah,
haven't even seen that one.
yeah,
Uh the that one I mean who is that even for? That's for the people who are like lifting under like 315.
yeah, right. But
So,
uh, I guess
which is
the
fine.
reason why they were doing that is they actually carry like their gym equipment in a briefcase too. I guess easier for travel.
I've
Um,
seen people have
yeah,
their gym equipment in like a more so travel
yeah,
bag,
yeah. But I think those are
briefcase.
more edge cases. But I have seen people like
Yeah.
if you don't really want to fight, like I've I've seen it happen because a lot of people who have to handle frequently on meets, they don't want to like fight for these things on meet day, so they can just use their own like
Mm.
collars, like 1.25 stuff like this. I personally don't do it. I think it's a little bit too extra, but
Well, are you talking about bringing like extra 1.25s or bringing extra like point fives?
oh yeah, I'm sorry, I meant like 1.25s. Like
Oh, okay.
the point fives would
I thought you
be
were talking about extra
yeah,
point fives, and I'm like, who
yeah,
the heck is bringing
yeah,
an extra? That's someone who wants to warm up with like 225 exactly instead of 226,
yeah, right.
or,
Uh,
or 315 exact wants to warm up with 315 exactly instead of 314
yeah, right.
kilos. But yeah, I can believe that. I've seen people bring their own clips and collars.
Mhm.
Alan, I used to have a pair of clips, and I was planning on bringing those to like a bunch of meets, but I have no idea where they went. I didn't even take them really anywhere. I'm sure they're still somewhere, just very hidden. But yeah, that's been a thing. Not all meet days have enough of that, but usually, like if you can tie the wrist straps on a certain way. You know
Yeah,
about that,
yeah,
that
yeah.
method? Yeah, you can tie the wrist straps on a certain way, pretend they're like collars or like clips, and usually like I'll go and then the lifter next to me will use their wrist straps as these gym clips to keep the weight
Mhm.
on, and we'll just tighten it on the bar.
Yeah.
I've had that, but usually that's that works well enough. I bring my own foam roller because I like foam rolling, and then I'll bring my own carpet. I don't know if we'll really use it depending on the venue. Probably we'll just use it anyway for the
Yeah.
bench warm up.
Um, so something else too is I guess if this is more on the handler, I would say, but also just knowing a good tip is to know the rotation of the people at
Mhm.
your rack, just so you have a better idea of, which height needs to go first, these type of things. Um, Hopefully this isn't on you on meet day, but it is good to know that type of stuff too, just so you're
Mhm.
not like scrambling last minute and everyone's getting their warm ups in really late, and then we talked about it before. Someone's like, "Hey, can I hop in?" And they're like, "Nah." You got to be like, "Nah, you
Yeah.
can't do that."
I will not like it if somebody does that to me
Yeah.
on stage. I will think very low of them, whoever that random person is. But it's also on my handler to tell them to screw off.
Yeah.
And with the handler, this is something that can be talked about as an athlete. This can be talked about with your coach. and you can get your warm up jumps planned beforehand before the meet. And I'm a big fan of that because I see all the times just it's either the athlete like being kind of confused on what to do for their warm up. So like they'll word it like, oh, I normally do 1 rep and then 2 rep, and then sometimes I do this, and I'm like, I don't really want to know what you do. Sometimes I want to know what we're going to do right now. I'm trying to load your weight on, and or I'll see the athlete like talking about it with the coach, but that stuff can take like it can just take time to figure out, and we want to use all the time we have on meet day to be lifting and executing and being locked in. I don't really think like talking about warm ups on meet day. It's like what the heck are we doing?
Yeah.
But that I like having that stuff
Agreed.
planned out, and even for my stuff, I just kind of it's normally like a collaboration between the athlete and the coach. But I just kind of wrote out my own warm ups and was like, hey, what do you think, coach? He's like it looks good. I'm like awesome, cool.
Yep.
We're good to go. But the warm ups are pretty much like what I would do anyway to warm up for that stuff. And I'd say I've like 4 to 5 warm ups on all my stuff.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I'll give my athletes a sheet. Well, I guess if I'm there, obviously I have it myself, but on that sheet, which we talk about, it'll have 4 to 5 warm ups. And what I always tell them too is, hey, your opener is also a warm up, so just keep that in mind. Um,
Yeah.
so um, we have that, and then also just be aware of what QT, if you're going for a QT, you need and tell your handler. Since I've seen that a couple times where there's like a little bit of confusion on what the lifter needs to take. Like the lifter knows what they need to take, but then the handler doesn't know what the QT is or what needs to be taken or what their
Yeah.
current total
I've seen
is.
confusion with that. I've seen confusion with that with athletes and coaches. And if you're an athlete and your coach is handling you, be sure to just remind them, because you definitely don't want to like hit your third deadlift and have it be under a QT or something like that. But yeah, that's about it. But you can just like have that all on a spreadsheet and just write it down. You literally just need to write down the QT on the spreadsheet,
Yeah.
and there's like no real excuse for not knowing what's up.
Yeah, exactly. So, yep, on
Mm.
the spreadsheet, obviously you got your attempts and then warm ups. Then also, if you have any QTs, I would throw that on there. Very easy.
Or yeah, or even if you're trying to place at a national level meet, you can do the scouting ahead of time, and pretty much everyone has a lifting Instagram. Everyone who's placing for the most part pretty much has a lifting Instagram, unless it's like they're super brand new and they're just super strong right out of the woodworks. But you can what I would do when I was handling at these national level meets is I would have the names of the opposition, and I would have what they totaled in the past, and then I would have this one like was an interesting one. I'd also have like what I thought they'd total, but like what I thought they'd total on a good day. But not everyone has a good day, so they'd be a little inflated. But it for the most part, it'd still be like close enough just to know what names to look out for, and then I would kind of just assume, hey, there's probably one more guy that for whatever reason, maybe I missed them, or maybe they just got really strong out of nowhere, whatever it is. Maybe they just didn't have lifting Instagram, and like they don't have too much information on them. Assume there's one more person, and in that way, it's kind of like instead of writing the QT, you're writing down like, hey, I think I'm going to need the total around this range in order to have a solid shot of placing or a solid shot of winning.
Yeah. Right. Right. Um,
Mhm.
okay. So I guess now that we're talking about attempts, uh,
Yeah, this kind of goes in with for the non-comp standard people. So I would say for something like squat is I wouldn't say you need to adjust your expectations too hard, but if you're squatting, you're sinking your squat, which is good, but maybe in training it was a little more 50-50, then that's something to just keep in mind. Like the squat might start to get a little harder, a little faster than we thought, and the opener and the second probably aren't even going to be too bad, but it's something to keep in mind on the third. And then for bench, usually if you get what you benched in training and then subtract 2.5 to 5 kilos, it's good enough for the most part. It's probably accurate. Going up on bench, there's just a lot of variables at hand, a lot of external, a lot of like the bench equipment mattering, as well as the commands mattering on the day. And then for deadlift, this one, I'd say for the most part, this one's like fine, right? You just deadlift, then you're good.
Like unless you're having insane grip issues or something in your
Mm-hmm.
training, this one should translate a lot better. If not,
Yeah,
like
this one's be the easiest, or not easiest to translate, but it's like, if you're having no real crazy issues on deadlift, you probably won't have no real crazy issues on deadlift. On meet day, we just need to worry about whether we're being strong enough or not.
mhm, yeah, right. And then I guess this kind of goes along with what I was talking about before too. Just for deadlift, double chalking. I would say this is more of a common knowledge now, but bring your own liquid chalk and layering it with regular chalk just to kind of prevent these things. Obviously, baby powder,
Mhm.
um, and then
Yeah, I like bringing my own chalk.
yeah,
I do my best to bring my own baby powder. I'll bring my own baby powder for this meet. Sometimes there's always baby powder at meets, but sometimes it is like, let's say you timed your stuff well, your coach timed your stuff well, you're getting ready. You have enough time to get baby powder on, and then you have enough time to get to the platform.
yeah,
But what happens when both of you don't have baby powder, and then you're looking around for baby powder, or you're asking someone if they can borrow theirs, and then that person says, "Oh, well, this person needs to borrow it next, and then you can borrow it," and then that whole thing takes a little longer than we originally thought.
mm,
So it's just, if you can bring your own, it's just better. There's less. It's a lot quicker.
right. Okay. I think that's all I have for that
Yeah.
process. Anything else you wanted to add?
And the whole thing with this is the biggest thing is to be prepared. And like we said on this podcast earlier, if you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. Sun Tzu, The Art of War. So if you know the enemy, aka the powerlifting meet, aka referees, right, and you know yourself, aka you being prepared and your attempt selection and how you lift on the day, then you need not fear the result of 100 meet days.
Mm,
It'll be good.
wise words. Wise words there. I guess from your own personal experience, do you have any like terrible meet day stories, or have you heard anything like things going really bad?
Mm, there have been meets where I've gone to handle at, and I'm not competing, I'm just handling an athlete or so, handling a few athletes, and I show up and I have to train afterwards. So I show up to the meet, I get my sleep before for the most part. I show up with my pre-workout. I show up with like two pre-workout meals, like one for breakfast and then one for just like actual pre-workout meal. I show up with my like Gatorade, rehydration salts, gallon of water, or just like a big water bottle, and I look around at all these people competing, and I think I am way more prepared than all of them, and I am not even competing today. And it's literally just bring like pre-workout to bring some sort of rehydration, and then bam, you're bring some extra of that. You're good for the most part, unless you're doing a big cut, then you might need to plan a little bit more, but most people aren't doing the crazy big cut. So there's I mean, I haven't. What about you? I haven't heard any nightmares
Um,
recently, I
yeah,
guess.
not really nightmares. Like I've heard occasional like bombing outs and stuff, but I think that has more to do with
Mhm.
the actual lifting and not
Yeah.
the preparation. But I have seen like people cramping and that leading to missed lifts. Um, I think that one's
Mhm.
more common, but
Yeah, some lifters, they like who bomb out. Maybe the it's usually like the cut. Maybe like they do the cut and they weigh in, but then the recomp isn't the best. Very much a two-part process. We need to cut correctly, and then we need to recomp correctly and get our body weight not only back to what it used to be, but we need to get our body weight back to what it is when we train, which is normally like morning body weight plus 3 to 4 pounds. If someone's training maybe in the afternoon or something like that, on the regular, right? They're training after class or training after work. But I've seen that happen where either the recomp or the cut goes south, but then all their attempts start to get harder very quickly, and I've seen that lead to bomb outs. But that's more like if someone's not cutting, they don't really have to
Right.
worry about that.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I guess with the cutting too, it's like it's very important that things are tracked meticulously, and I see people do a cut, but then they don't track anything nutrition wise, but they expect this cut to go very well, or just like yeah, something in like that a ballpark where part of this cut is like, hey, we need to track all this water, we need to track all this gut cut food, and it's also in a way based off what we've done in the past, what we've eaten, like how much we've eaten in the past, or is based off what we normally drink throughout the day in our regular training day. But if we don't know that information ahead of time, then we can't really have this proper gut cut, this proper water cut, whatever it is, because it's just like kind of like we're taking a shot in the dark and we're guessing.
Yeah. Right. Um, yeah, I think that covers the most of it. I think most people start running into problems with like time management on the meet day, not like either being a little bit too nonchalant about their food and stuff, and then like they realize, oh, I gotta quickly warm up, or with the recomp process. So I think more majority of the problems start from that end, um, and then also just stuff leading into the meet, like you're saying, with bringing your scale, um, making sure those are all like squared away. So yeah, I think that covers all the underrated tips that we have.
Yes.
So
So yeah,
thanks.
use them for your next meet and let us know how it goes.
Yeah, so thanks for watching, and make sure to rate us 5 stars on Spotify, and you can follow us on Instagram.
hmm And we have YouTube now. So
Yes, we have YouTube.
watch us talk on Discord on YouTube.
Make sure to subscribe.
Thank you.
All right.